All right, so I just finished watching the qualifying for the Chinese Grand Prix, and my mind continues to be blown this season. I think that a lot of people thought that with the changing exhaust regulations, that there'd be a bit of a mix-up. I think we were expecting more along the lines of, say, McLaren being, the fastest, Red Bull being second or third fastest, with Mercedes and Ferrari right there in the mix. But I think what we've seen so far has been sort of more of uh, a seismic shift in Formula One teams as far as speed and either qualifying or the race goes. I mean, Perez was second the last race in Malaysia, and this time around, Rosberg took the his first pole ever, Mercedes' first pole since 1955 as a constructor, and you know third and fourth place as far as the starting order are Kobayashi and Raikkonen. I think if you had looked at any F1 fan or commentator in the face last year and said that come the third race of this season that Sauber and Lotus would be on the second row, we would have laughed at you. I would have laughed at you. I wouldn't have talked to you. Similarly, Williams' ability to qualify and put together a good race, and Red Bull's inability to do so. There was a lot of uh, fuss made over the fact this weekend that Mark Webber and Sebastian Vettel are basically developing two kind of different cars as regards to their exhaust. They both have kind of a different setup for where the exhaust comes out of the bodywork. And what we saw was that Sebastian Vettel didn't make it to Q3, which hasn't happened in a long time. And it's not as though there was a puncture or, he was blocked by anybody. This was just a lack of pace. And Weber, wasn't fighting for the front row either. Um, and I was listening during the first part of qualifying to what um, Eddie Jordan, they cut away to Eddie Jordan, and he was talking about the new teams and their inability uh, to, get away from the back of the pack. I think that criticism probably doesn't hold a whole lot of weight until we get sort of a sea change of regulations. Because, yes, these teams have been in F1 for 3 years, but they've only been in F1 for 3 years. And I think, when you've got teams like Ferrari, Red Bull, Toro Rosso, who are struggling to, make it into the final part of qualifying, or in Toro Rosso's uh, case, failing to make it into the second part of qualifying. I think it's a little bit much to be asking Caterham or HRT or Marussia to be making it into the top 17. They're new teams and they're continuing to perform like new teams. But I think it's telling that the gap between Rosberg and Kovalainen is similar to the gap between Kovalainen and Karthikeyan. So there's as much of a gap almost between the new teams as there is between the new teams and the fastest. And I think that Caterham's continuing to make progress. They've got Renault as an engine supplier this year. I just feel like the criticisms maybe not a bit fair. I mean, were we expecting that Caterham were going to continue to develop a great car and Force India and Williams and Toro Rosso were going to stop? I mean, these are well-funded teams with a good pedigree. These aren't guys who got lucky. This isn't a Brawn where this team just kind of formed out of the ashes. And so I think the criticism probably could be toned down a little bit. um, because everybody else is struggling. But I think this is going to be a great race. It's already shaping up to be a great season. You know, Fernando Alonso is leading the championship. He qualified horribly, um, and I just think it's been fun. It's never the same qualifying session. You know, last year it got kind of pointless. Yeah, Sebastian Vettel got pole again. Fantastic. Um, you know, last year it was news if the same person didn't get pole, and if a Red Bull didn't win or wasn't on the front row of the grid, then that was news. And this year it's just different pole sitters, a different top five, teams that were bottom of the mid pack. I mean, Sauber was not a great team last year. I mean, they were an okay team, but nobody would think that Sauber would be consistently um, contesting for a podium position. I mean, it's been that kind of a shift, and I don't know enough American sports references to make it impress upon you of how significant it is, but it's these underdogs that Sauber was searching for funding at the beginning of this year. I'm not even sure if they still have logos on their entire car, and they're consistently fighting for second and third place. I mean, it's pretty epic. If you're a Formula One fan and you were asleep all last season because it was so boring, not the case this season. It's something new every weekend, and I think if Formula One's um, kind of goal this year was to give the fans more excited racing. I think they've definitely delivered because I'm excited. I can't wait for the race tomorrow. It's actually only 7 or 8 hours away. Uh, that's what happens when they race on the complete opposite side of the world. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.